Da Vinci's Mona Lisa will undoubtedly be listed among the top 10 most recognizable paintings in the world. The mystery of the painting contributes to its attractiveness. The smile on the Mona Lisa at the Louvre often causes those who are fortunate enough to get an unimpeded view to stand in amazement and wonder. It's the same while looking at a copy of the artwork. She appears to be smiling, and then not. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, also known as the portrait of Lisa Ghiardini, wife of Francesco del Giocondo, Italian La Gioconda, or French La Joconde, is arguably the most well-known artwork in history. It was painted probably between 1503 and 1519, while Leonardo was a resident in Florence. It's currently on display at the Louvre Museum in Paris, where it has continued to draw tourists into the 21st century. The sitter's enigmatic smile and her unidentified status have drawn attention to the artwork and sparked ongoing research. So what makes the Mona Lisa painting unique? The Mona Lisa is, indeed, a very realistic portrait. Leonardo's mastery of sfumato, an artistic technique that uses subtle gradations of light and shadow to model form, is evident in the subject's softly sculptural face, as is his understanding of the skull beneath the skin. By examining a recently unearthed portrait by Renaissance artist La Bella Principessa, British researchers claim to have unraveled one of the greatest riddles in the history of art: the meaning behind the smile of Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Scientists from Sheffield Hallam University assert that they have demonstrated through a comparison of the two pieces' techniques that da Vinci intended the cryptic "now you see it, now you don't" effect of the Mona Lisa smile. The uncatchable smile is the term given to it. The epiphany came by studying La Bella Principessa. The earlier painting, which portraits the young, illegitimate daughter of a Milanese duke, has the same effect as the Mona Lisa. From some angles, the young lady seems to be smiling. From others, the smile appears to have vanished. According to a study that was published in the journal Vision Research, La Bella Principessa's lips appears to alter slant based on both the viewing distance and the level of blur added to a digital version of the photograph, the researchers said. It was discovered through a series of psychophysics experiments that La Bella Principessa's expression of contentment is influenced by a perceived change in the slope of her mouth. Volunteers were invited to approach and stand back from the painting in different ways. The conclusion was that a tiny smile could be observed when focusing on the painting's eyes, seeing from a distance, or when it was digitally blurred. However, the smile vanishes when the camera is focused on the mouth or up close. The sfumato method, which in Italian means soft or pale, was used to create the effect, which can be seen in both paintings. This technique employs color and shading to create an optical illusion around the mouths. The results from the experiments support the hypothesis that there is a gaze-dependent illusory effect in the portrait of La Bella Principessa, said Alessandro Soranzo from Sheffield Hallam's psychology department. Although it remains a question whether the illusion was intended, given Leonardo's mastery of the technique and its subsequent use in the Mona Lisa, it is quite conceivable that the ambiguity of the effect was intentional, based on explicit artistic skill and used in line with Leonardo's maxim that portraits should reflect some inner turmoil of the mind. The Mona Lisa had huge influence on the Renaissance and later times, revolutionizing contemporary portrait painting. Not only did Leonardo's three-quarter pose become the standard, but his preliminary drawings inspired other artists to make more and freer studies for their paintings, as well as encourage collectors to collect those drawings. His Milanese works were made known to Florentines through the drawings. Furthermore, his reputation and stature as an artist and thinker spread to his fellow artists, ensuring them the same freedom of action and thought that he had. So why is the Mona Lisa so luxurious? First, it's unsellable. Perhaps one of the reasons why the Mona Lisa has had such a high price tag associated with it is because it's actually unsellable. The Louvre cannot sell the Mona Lisa because of a specific law. Article L4515 states that goods in a museum in France that belong to a public person are also part of the public domain. As such, those goods are inalienable. This means that the museum cannot sell the good or goods. That said, there are ways for museums to change the status of some of their goods to sell them. To do so, they have to bring it to the High Council of Museums of France. The council will then decide whether to change the status of the good or not, allowing or denying its sale. This law protects the Mona Lisa from sale. It's unlikely that the council would agree to let the Louvre sell the Mona Lisa, so it's impossible for the Louvre to sell it, making the Mona Lisa all the more valuable. Art collectors and the like want to get their hands on precious paintings, and the Mona Lisa is perhaps the biggest part of their collection that they or anyone else could ever own. The fact that they can't get their hands on it only makes their interest in the painting even higher. With more interest and demand, if the Mona Lisa were ever to go up for sale, her price would be exceptionally high. The Mona Lisa is expensive because France can't sell her. Second, it's a historical artifact. Even if the Mona Lisa wasn't painted by a famous painter, it's still a valuable historical artifact. The painting features the depiction of a young woman in standard clothes for those times. It gives historians and viewers a glimpse into 1500s Europe. Everything from her clothes to her hairstyle is a wealth of information for historians to feast on. The original Mona Lisa painting is also done on wood rather than canvas. The material of the painting thus is historical in its own right too. Besides protecting the paint, the reason that the Louvre has a painting in a controlled environment is also because of the wood. Anytime something is historical, it has some intrinsic value to it. That's because in most cases, that particular item isn't made anymore. Historians find old artifacts valuable since it tells the story of mankind. The Mona Lisa is a remarkable historical artifact, since it not only depicts life in the 1500s, but also gives details on what paints were popular during that time. It gives a hint as to how painters prepared their paints and the ingredients used in them, and it demonstrates the sort of preparation that painters had to give their mediums. Rare, valuable, historical artifacts like the Mona Lisa are expensive because they generate a lot of interest from historians. If the painting were to ever go on sale, then there'd be a lot of clamor among historians to get their hands on it. It appeals to several different types of historians as well. With so much interest in the painting, the demand for her would be high, which would lead to, again, an extremely expensive price tag. Number 3. It's unique. Another reason the Mona Lisa is expensive is that she's unique. While you can buy a cheap poster of the Mona Lisa at almost any kind of art gift store, museum, or even online, that doesn't mean you're buying the Mona Lisa. There is only one Mona Lisa painting, and it's hanging in the Louvre. When you buy a poster or replica, that's exactly what you're buying. It's a copy of the Mona Lisa and not the actual thing. That's because the painting is unique. Leonardo da Vinci did not make 2 Mona Lisa paintings, and even if he did, since he did his paintings by hand, there wasn't any way to copy his prints electronically. After all, the 2 would likely be different. Even a gifted painter like Leonardo da Vinci would make slight mistakes or adjustments while he was painting. If he were to complete a second Mona Lisa, it would still be different from the other one. As such, both would be unique Mona Lisa paintings, but since there's only one, it's unique unto itself. Leonardo da Vinci died long ago, so there's no chance of him ever making another one, obviously. It's because there's only one that makes this painting so valuable and expensive. Only one person could ever own her. So there you have it, everything regarding the secret behind Mona Lisa's smile and the riches of luxury. Make sure to leave a comment down below and share your opinions, as well as subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Thanks for watching Crown Luxury, and we'll see you in the next video.